So before Elena Delle Donne even came into the play, did she exaggerate the contact? Absolutely, but you have to protect the shooter.
So Elena Delle Donne was presented with the MVP award, her second in her career, right before the game. Kelsey Plum gets the start tonight in place of Tamara Young. Kelsey Plum has been magnificent in the last game and a half, and we asked her why, and she said, I'm playing the point for the first time this year.
Yeah, she's excited to have control of the basketball, and it just has a renewed energy in this role.
Energy always from Ariel Atkins, a very good defensive player for Washington, forces the turnover. Rebound, Delle Donne has it, rim out. Delle Donne with 24 points and a team-leading 6 assists, but had to take 22 shots in game 1.
I thought Vegas made Elena Delle Donne work for every shot in game 1, but her team picked up some of the slack, and Delle Donne made the big shot that really counted.
Natasha Cloud had some big threes for Washington, especially early on. She drives and draws the game's first foul.
And we expect to see more of an attack mentality from the Washington Mystics. They settled for threes early in game 1, and when they missed, it led to runouts for Vegas. So to slow Vegas's transition game, Washington has to take better shots out of their offense.
Bill Laimbeer in his second year in charge of Vegas. Mike Thibault, more wins than any coach in the history of this league, still looking for his first championship, and this is his best team. And they had an NBA best, or WNBA best, 26 wins this season. They have won 11 straight games here at home, including game 1 of this series. Cloud, like most of her teammates, very good free throw shooting team. As a team, Washington shot 88% from the line this year. That is incredible. In fact, that's a WNBA single season record. Jackie Young, if they get offense from her, that's a bonus.
And you see Washington is daring Young to assert herself into the offensive flow, because then you can't sag down on the post players. You can't sag in on Cam Beige or Wilson if Young is knocking down shots. Washington's defense just sitting on Cam Beige.
Jackie Young taking advantage, hitting that three. And how about back-to-back threes for the rookie from Notre Dame, only averaging 6.5 points per game. She has 6 already. Cloud beats Plum down the court. Cam Beige with the miss and the follow and the foul on Washington.
Liz Cambage told us today at shoot-around, I was soft in game 1 of this series. I have not been playing my game. Well, getting deep position is a sure way for your defense to get beat. When she gets that close in and then no box out, you got to figure out how you can turn around and try to push her back from the basket, because you're not going to contest 6'8".
Not successfully anyway. That was a foul on Emma Miesemann. And Mike Thibault, when you asked how do you stop Cam Beige, he says, well, when she gets the ball that deep, you just pray she misses it. And if she misses it, you don't want her to get the rebound and the putback. And she did that and got fouled to give Vegas the 5-point lead.
They did such a good job of getting to the free throw line, did the Las Vegas Aces, and that was a concern for Mike Thibault. You see the immediate double. Liz Cambage almost zoning up when Delle Donne gets the ball.
Sanders with a sweet head fake to rid herself of Cambage's defense. Latoya Sanders, one of the best defensive players in the league. Asia Wilson aggressively to the ball. Cambage hustling early. But Miesemann showing her versatility at 6'4", able to bring the ball up. Atkins to Delle Donne. That's a mismatch with Jackie Young. Good pace early on. Kelsey Plum coast to coast. And one thing that Bill Laimbeer was very pleased with was the pace of the game. He said, we're a push it up and attack it team. And Washington's matching them so far. Cloud had 6 points off 2 threes in the first quarter in game 1. She's got 6 points in a variety of ways so far in this one. Asia. Delle Donne attacking Young. that is advantage Washington each and every time, right?
Yeah, and that's what you get when Elena Delle Donne is at the 3 spot, is there are not very many 3 players that can match up with her size-wise, and she can take you off the bounce. She's got ball handling.
Now, Miesemann uses her size to take it away. Jackie Young is listed at 6 feet, and I think that's very generous. Sanders, ball in the net.
And that's the advantage for Sanders, because Liz Cambage is not used to coming out and guarding the jump shooter.
Kelsey Plum with her second basket. Washington on top thanks to 6 straight made field goals.
Boy, this game is moving, Pam.
Sanders, they're daring her to shoot, and she's got 3 buckets already. What a fast-paced 4 minutes in. Atkins bodies up on Plum, who ran into her own teammate. Sanders grabbed by Plum. Another mismatch underneath.
Elena Delle Donne is obviously the first option when you can on offense. This is just a good cut to the basketball against a smaller defender and Jackie Young. And she can bring it down as well and use that size to just rise and fire.
Such an arsenal of offensive weapons, uses the glass as well as anybody in this league. Wearing the mask because she broke her nose back in July 7th, missed 2 games, one of which was Washington's only loss this year to Las Vegas. They won the other 2 games.
Vegas going under on the first screen and then switching on the second screen on the rescreen from Washington.
Oh, they brought the double team. Dearica Hamby in the game, instant energy, and what does she do right away? Helps force the turnover.
Yeah, and she is so good running in transition. She gets that game going, and right here, Elena Delle Donne catches it, and immediate attention.
Hamby named the 6th Woman of the Year in the league this year. Here she is. Made a shot that will live in Aces history and WNBA history. The crazy shot to win the game against Chicago. Christy Tolliver getting ready to check in for the Mystics. One of the crowd favorites. McBride. Lethal from 3.
I know both of these teams can get up and down, but Vegas definitely plays a better game when they're in pace. To me, Washington has got to be willing to work the ball around. They can't play like Vegas.
Miesemann, little ball fake. Well, Asia Wilson really working hard in the low post against Miesemann.
Somebody's got to get Asia Wilson's hair ribbon out of the middle of the floor. You don't want anybody to get hurt.
Mike Price with the whistle. What a start. 16 apiece as we hit the first break. Kim Adams speaks with EDD MVP when we return. Delle Donne in her 7th season out of the University of Delaware, already with 2 MVPs, scoring champion, rookie of the year, multiple all-star, first player in the 50-40-90 club in women's basketball, gold medal as well. One thing she's missing is a championship, but she is the MVP this year, and here she is with Kim Adams.
Elena, I know you're locked into this game right now, but earlier today named the league's most valuable player. After such a successful season as a team and individually, what did it mean to get that honor?
It was a huge honor. This is a great league with phenomenal players, so I'm humbled to get it.
And you guys had to work off some rust from game 1. What's different about the rhythm offensively to start?
Both teams are pushing the pace. We got to find a way to get stops. We can't just trade baskets.
Thanks so much, Elena.
There really wasn't an argument for MVP. As far as I'm concerned, Elena Delle Donne was unstoppable this season, and we talked about the efficiency in the 50-40-90 club. Well-deserved honor, and on the #1 team in the league.
Sanders has 8 points, 4 for 4 from the floor. That's 50% from the floor, 40% from 3, 90% from the free throw line. Some NBA players have done it, but Elena is the first WNBA player to accomplish that. Cambage cleans up on the other end.
Second chance points. That was a factor in game 1 and stretches for both teams, honestly. When they had success, it was the team that was rebounding offensively.
Miesemann. Both teams that we talked about Emma Miesemann being the X factor on this team. She did not play all of last year, opting instead to stay with her Belgian national team as they qualified for the World Cup for the first time.
She has matured so much as a player over time. Her willingness to actually take shots as Deladon tries to get to the rim. But that's why Emma Miesemann had such a big impact in that first game, is because she knows that they need her.
Kelsey Plum pushing it again, this time getting it to Wnba, who has a chance for a three-point play.
Well, take a look at the last couple of buckets by Washington. It is hard for Elizabeth Cambage to both help and get back to the shooter. You see her teammates try to pick up the slack, and then once Cloud is in attack mode, it really opens up things for the offense for the Washington Mystics. But unless there is some kind of direct drive or a piece of the paint, Washington needs to wait to get some of those shots. They've been shooting rather early in the possession, but that was perfect.
Wnba was fouled by Tolliver. And the ball stays with Las Vegas after Washington could not corral the rebound.
Because one of the things that's still plaguing Washington from game one is they're not getting matched up in transition. They're not getting defenders where they want them on the proper matchups. And that also compromises you on the offensive glass.
They were stung by Vegas a lot in transition in game one. The Aces shot 62% in the first half. Sugar Rogers loses it out of bounds. Don't miss your chance to catch your favorite players, teams, and the continued WNBA playoffs in person. Get your tickets today at WNBA.com/tickets. People in LA, they got to show up actually in Long Beach, where the Connecticut Sun can complete a 3-game sweep in the other semifinal. Sanders' first miss of the night. That's a surprise to me, at least, that Connecticut was able to win both games so convincingly.
Huge. And the Sparks fans have been fantastic with their home crowd. The Staples, they're going to need to do the same thing.
A two-handed block by Sanders. And then Washington throws it away.
Latoya Sanders may only be 6'2" on paper, but she has long arms, a lot of length, and uses that right here to contest Wnba. Great job of not making contact with the body or anything else. And Washington did not capitalize on the other end of things, and that's, again, because they're playing fast.
Sanders forces another turnover. Tolliver, short, got off to a slow start in game one before really coming on in the second half. Cambage steamrolls down the lane. Liz Cambage off to a terrific start. She has 7. And now a foul on the perimeter.
And that was because Liz Cambage was late coming back up the floor and then realized she had to get over and screen. Got there just a tad bit late.
First foul on Liz. Vegas did have a foul to give. Mike Thibault sits Elena Deladon down in what has been a very fast-paced first quarter. Miesemann back in, as is Tiana Hawkins. Hawkins part of a Mystics bench that scored on average over 30 points a game during the regular season. Ariel Atkins will make it Ariel Powers, one of the players off the bench, with the chance for a 3-point play.
We expect to see more of Ariel Powers tonight, according to Mike Thibault, and this is why. She's instant offense, and when the right matchups are on the floor, Sugar Rogers is both smaller, but also doesn't have the power, the strength to contain Powers. So that was a great move for her, and if she can get it going offensively, not a lot of Washington's bench did in that first game. And I think with the addition of Tolliver coming off of the bench, it's kind of changed what they're used to getting in their rotations.
2-point lead after the 3-point play. Sugar Rogers.
That's what you want to do with Sugar. You want to run her off the 3-point line, but you've got to box out Wnba. She will outwork you on the glass.
Cloud all the way. Cloud leading everybody with 8 points. Tolliver with Deladon on the bench, remember. Back to Miesemann, toe on the line. 4-point advantage for the Mystics. McBride floats it in nicely.
And she's going to have to do that because Cloud, one of the best defenders in the WNBA, is determined to run her off the three-point line. McBride's got to be willing to score in some other ways.
And Cloud liked what she saw when she turned the quarter with Jisoo Park guarding her, Park with the foul.
Vegas has tried to show their bigs on the drive, especially with Cloud, to try to slow her down. But she's so quick and got a lot of steam coming off the pick, and they're fouling her, or she's getting to the rim.
Now Cloud back to the free throw line where she hit her first 2 shots. This series continues Sunday with Game 3. We will join you in Las Vegas, 5 Eastern time on ESPN2. And then the If Necessary games Tuesday and or Thursday, all on ESPN2. WNBA.com and ESPN.com has all the up-to-date information.
How about the play of Courtney Williams for the Connecticut Sun? I mean, she's one of those players that doesn't need a screen. She's just quicker than you, faster than you, more athletic. She can go get a bucket whenever she wants.
I think she can jump higher than you, too. Than anyone, not just you in particular.
She could definitely jump higher than me.
She had 25 points tonight.
Incredible.
Hawkins jumps out. Shot clock is going to expire. Terrific defense by the Mystics. They only have a half a second to close out the quarter. But they made sure that Plum could not get a decent shot. Now they're having an issue with the clock. Right now, yeah, it showed 1:60. Now it's down to 16 seconds.
Which also doesn't seem right.
Which is also 1.6. Here we go. They had to get the decimal in the right position. Tolliver can't handle it. And the first quarter, 30-26, a high-scoring first quarter. Cloud with 10.
Joined by Aces coach Bill Lambier. Coach, I know you guys like to push it up, but Washington's answering back with that same tempo. How can you get some more stops?
We don't turn it over, we'll outscore them. So that's the bottom line in this game right now.
And you've mixed in a bunch of different players early. What are you looking for them to stay on the floor?
Just to keep our fresh legs and make shots and attack the basket.
Thanks so much, Coach.
Bill Lambier's team trailing by 4. Both teams shooting well in the first quarter. Washington at a blistering 63%. Emma Miesemann can't get the turnaround to go, but Hawkins gives him a fresh 14 on the clock. Deladon starting this quarter on the bench. This year's MVP. Miesemann left it short. Asia Wilson did not score in that first quarter, went 0 for 5 from the floor for the Aces. Washington, to Bill Lambier's chagrin, forces another turnover.
Boy, how many times has Ariel Atkins gotten a tip or deflection or a steal? So active on the defensive end.
Ever since she came in the league from Texas last year, she came in as a really good perimeter defender. 7 turnovers now for Vegas. Wilson drives on Hawkins and has a chance to score from the free throw line.
Ariel Atkins is just hunting for the basketball on the defensive end. She reads eyes, she anticipates, and right here gets out on the fast break. And good for Emma Miesemann running with her.
Foul by Hawkins on the other side sends Asia Wilson to the free throw line.
And there are the numbers for Emma Miesemann in game 1. And I go back to Liz Cambasia's comment about guarding this Washington team that can spread the floor with their bigs. She said, I hate it, because if you're a post player, you're 6'8", you want to stay in the lane. But for her and A'ja Wilson in this matchup, they have got to get out to contest. And Emma was able to find some space, both off of Elena Deladon's play, but also in transition. And she was fantastic. Anytime you gave her a look, she knocked it down.
Sydney Colson in the game, the backup point guard for Bill Lambier, commits the foul in the backcourt. Emma Miesemans 27 points in game 1, a season high, and also a career playoff high. Had a double-double with 10 boards as well. Wnba draws the defensive assignment on Emma. Powers gets out of trouble. Fade away this time.
Got a little bit of that in their arsenal too. The one-leg fade away.
Terrific basketball player, maybe unselfish to a fault earlier in her career. She's found a home with the Mystics. Coming off the bench earlier, now starting.
Tolliver is really helping off of Colson a lot in the lane. Emma Miesemans showing us she has a little Dirk in her. Takes it to the middle, fade away, uses her size. Beautiful.
Coach Tebow says she's really embraced her offensive role. Took her years to convince her that three-point shots were important. And when you see her play, you wonder why it took her so long. Colson fouled by Tolliver, who now has 2 personals.
And Colson is taking it at Tolliver. We saw Vegas do that in game 1 because Christie is coming off of that 5 weeks of no basketball with that knee injury. They're looking to go after.
For more on Emma Miesemans, here's Kim Adams.
Thanks, Pamela. You just mentioned how she had to get accustomed to that three-point shot. If you go back and look at her first 2 seasons in the league, she only attempted 4. She was 0 of 4. So this year she has taken 45, and just the other night, as Ariel Powers knocks down a 3, but Emma Miesemans had 2 of 4 from behind the arc. So she's slowly adopting the love for that three-point shot, Pam.
And this team certainly loves a three-point shot. They averaged 9.3 per game. That is a new WNBA single-season record. They had 18 in one game against Indiana, also a new record.
They can shoot it, no doubt. Mike Tebow was talking to us a couple days ago about how he has always wanted to have a team of shooters that could really knock down the 3-ball, going back to his early coaching days. Now, Coach Tebow told us he coached a team and scored 171 points. Yeah, I was like, wait a minute, Coach. He said, like, I've always been about offense.
That was the back in the CBA. There's Tamara Young's bucket when he coached Omaha. Deladon back in for the Mystics. There she is. Tamara Young fouled her.
I just find it interesting that Tamara Young would help off of Elena Deladon. That's what got her out of position defensively and eventually why she fouled. I've never seen that kind of help off of EDD. She was in the corner and on the closeout here. Maybe a little shove there by Elena.
Elena Deladon continues her WNBA playoff record. That is her 42nd straight made free throw in postseason play. During the regular season, she shot 117 free throws and only missed 3.
Focus, concentration, and that routine that is so basic. She said, listen, I'm not trying to do a lot with the ball, but put it in. Oh, no spinning, none of that touching my chest, pointing into the air.
Natasha Cloud almost forced the turnover and did. McBride stepped out of bounds. Elena Deladon is the highest free throw percentage, career free throw percentage in the history of this league. Shot over 97% this year in the regular season. A weapon at the line and just about everywhere else. Powers drives on Plum. Just a little bit too much spin. It's knocked out by A'ja.
Bill Lambier quickly gets an offensive-minded lineup back into the game.
Four starters plus De'Erica Hamby in. Jackie Young is only starter on the bench right now. Hamby, as usual, all over the glass.
Switching on EDD and some different matchups on her in this game. We saw Vegas play a couple of different players on her.
Eastman doing a good job on Wilson. McBride forces the shot. Cloud on the switch. Deladon left all alone, and she makes him pay. Washington's biggest lead of the night is 10. Timeout. Bill Lambier and the Las Vegas Aces. Washington up double digits.
On the skip, Elena Deladon on the pass. She has been so wide open on this backside. And good vision by Cloud against a bigger Liz Cambage, and you can't leave the MVP that wide open against a smaller defender.
The part about her, she's never complacent. You know, she's the best player in the world. That might be a little bit biased, but I don't care. But to not be complacent and to continue to grow as a player, both on and off the court, I think that says a lot about her. I think it says a lot about how she was raised by her family, and we're extremely blessed and lucky to have her here in D.C.
I think the best part of today is that we've got to hear from some different players, both from Washington and Las Vegas, about Elena Deladon. And Liz Cambage told us she reminds her of Lauren Jackson, and just said her game is so beautiful and fluid. As Plum gets to the rim going left, that's something that Washington wanted to take away, was her strong hand, but they have not been able to.
Kelsey Plum's left-handed, correct?
That she is.
Team lefty. That's breaks a string of 4.5 minutes with just one field goal for Las Vegas. Sanders working on McBride. Deladon again, left open momentarily, but decided to go probably the more difficult route.
And it looks like Vegas is playing some kind of matchup zone. I know they had talked about that in shoot-around, but when you look at the top of the defense, they're passing cutters off, just a lot of zone principles in terms of how they're playing. Nice shot there by Emma Meeseman.
That last shot that Asia Wilson hit was her first field goal of the game. Plum missed everything. And the fans let her know about it. Kelsey Plum showing some newfound confidence. Started most of the season, then towards the end, Tamara Young got into the starting lineup. Plum has been terrific the last game and a half, earning the starting spot tonight for Bill Lambier. Atkins rid herself of Liz. I love Ariel Atkins' demeanor. She always just seems even-keeled, and she obviously was not afraid of Cambage.
At all. And she loves this time of year.
Liz fouled.
And this is defensively what I've been talking about with Vegas. Watch Kelsey Plum in particular. Now, some teams do three-man switch, but she passes off the cutter. And see how everyone is shifted in the middle of the floor. I mean, some zone principles, some matchup zone principles, but that's kind of how EDD is getting open, is Vegas's rotations out of that. And kind of getting sucked in ball side and not getting out to the shooter.
Atkins, who committed the foul, subs out for Christy Tolliver. And we saw Vegas a couple of days ago before game one of this series working on some zone principles, which is something they had not done much of, if at all, during the regular season.
They did not, which says that Vegas has a lot of respect for Washington's offense.
Meeseman just calmly turned and shot it over Asia. Meeseman back-to-back. Great offensive games. Already has 13 after 27 in game one.
Tolliver really sitting on that left hand of Kelsey Plum's.
Shot clock at 5 for Liz. And then Tolliver got in the way, but a break for Vegas as the ball hit Tolliver's foot. So the shot clock resets to 14. Here's Bill Lambier wired.
Dumb turnovers. Turnovers, offensive rebounds, and one-on-one defense. Let's go.
And Vegas is lucky that with their 8 turnovers, Washington only has 4 points.
Wnba left open. Cloud, Tolliver. And Deladon sets the screen for Tolliver. Bodies crash to the floor, and if that's on Christie, it's her 3rd. It is indeed on Christie Tolliver.
And you got to credit the disruptive defense of Kelsey Plum. I mean, she is up on Tolliver.
Christie Tolliver has played 8 minutes, has yet to score, and has 3 personal fouls.
Right here, Kelsey Plum goes over the top, and Asia Wilson picking up Christie Tolliver.
Christie Tolliver sits down. Ariel Atkins comes quickly back in for the 11-year veteran.
I didn't necessarily see the foul, though.
No, that's something they could have let go. But that's a big development for the Mystics to have Tolliver on the bench. They won a ton of games with her out for 5 weeks with the knee injury. That was on short, but stayed with it. Cloud missed it wide left. Plum delivers to Wilson. Washington's done a good job on Asia. She's 1 of 7 from the floor. Niesemann all the way and got fouled.
How many teams can play a 2-man game with a 6'5" and 6'4" forward? Emma Niesemann showing she's got some toughness. Wow.
Wnba halftime report presented by State Farm. We'll show you how the Sun roared back to take a 2-0 series lead on LA. Meantime, in our game, is it a shorter conversation to say what's not working for Washington in this first half?
Yeah, it is. It seems like everything's working for them. They're shooting a high percentage, led by Emma Niesemann. Lena Deladon's getting her groove on. Latoya Sanders, they're all chipping in and making a big impact.
We'll also talk more about the MVP second time around when you join us at the half. Pam?
All right, Kevin and Katie, our WNBA playoff coverage continues Sunday on ESPN2. Aces Mystics game 3 at 5 Eastern time from Nevada. Then the Sparks and the Sun follow. WNBA playoff doubleheader on ESPN2. That comes your way on Sunday. Emma Niesemann delivers with the 3-point play. She has 16 points in 16 minutes. Not bad.
Well, she was 3rd in the WNBA in field goal percentage behind Sylvia Fowles and Brittany Griner as McBride gets a take. When you think about where Griner and Fowles take a majority of their shots, they're around the basket. So for Emma to be that efficient when a lot of her game is face-up speaks volumes for her shooting ability.
Yeah, 55% overall, 42% from 3. Here she goes. Misses. McBride ends up on the court. A foul away from the action on Washington.
If that's on Atkins, that might be her 3rd.
So both Atkins and Christie Tolliver have 3 fouls apiece for the Mystics. You see Tolliver right behind Ariel on the Washington bench. Aces in the bonus. McBride is a 91% free throw shooter. We have some NBA players in the building. Bradley Beal and John Wall.
Yeah, they had their Elena Deladon MVP masks on earlier, showing their support. And we mentioned this facility and how great it's been for the Washington Mystics, and they share this with the Wizards. And so these players are interacting a lot, even in the summer, where these guys come in for workouts and they see each other and their support is there. Chrissy Tolliver is a coach for the Wizards. Great relationship.
Beal and Wall, two of the three honorary captains in this game, along with Tom Wilson of the Capitals, Washington's NHL franchise. Meesman, maybe one pass too many. Washington turns it over.
Ball reversal. Washington needed ball reversal on that possession.
Plum got a hand in there. She has been a nuisance on the defensive end and has also scored 6 points with 5 assists for the Aces. Plum getting the start tonight over Tamara Young.
Well, with Washington doing a better job containing Las Vegas's transition offense, Vegas has not scored as efficiently in the half court. Here's the trap to Plum. Make her give it up.
Jackie Young. She hit a couple of outside shots early. Vegas on a 6-0 run. Had trailed by 11. Washington blew a couple of double-digit leads in game one. Actually just blew one and almost blew the 14-point lead in the fourth. And here come the Aces again. As we approach a minute to go in the first half. Plum guarded by Walker Kimbrough. Kelsey Plum drives all the way to the basket, and an 11-point lead is down to 3.
Kelsey Plum has really been bailing Vegas out.
We will take a timeout in Washington.
Are on a run here, and it really starts with the leadership of Plum. I think she set the tone, but good pass by a struggling Asia Wilson, and just getting the ball in the right places. Jackie Young has been more aggressive tonight than we have seen her in past games. And off of the bounce, Vegas just really getting a piece of the paint. Maybe a little walk there by Plum, but Aces right before the half, showing some energy on the offensive end.
During that 8-0 run, Vegas has gone 3 for 3 from the floor.
As soon as I was talking about their half-court offense, I think they heard me. Yeah. They're like, oh, yeah? Well, watch this.
Yeah, we can do a few things, so let's see what happens with Washington out of the timeout. Cloud takes it right to Plum, but just left it short. Wilson running the court.
And that's what they do. That is where Vegas was able to get an advantage yesterday in the first half.
10 straight points for Vegas. Powers can't get it, and Vegas can take the lead after trailing by 11 earlier in this quarter. Wnba, timeout. There is 1.4 seconds difference between the two clocks.
Kelsey Plum leading the charge for the Las Vegas Aces. They have a chance to take the lead. We come back to the break.
We are back in Washington less than 2.5 minutes ago. Washington led by 11.
It really comes down to the fact, Pam, that even though Washington had the lead, to me, they're still not playing their style of basketball. Only Wnba Meesseman has scored in the last 4 minutes and 35 seconds. This is a team that relies on balance. And they're not being as disciplined and as patient on the offensive end as we've seen Washington be all season.
Bill Lambier called the timeout. Kelsey Plum, the starting point tonight. Sugar Rogers with the miss. As time expires, Las Vegas with a 10-0 run to end the first half, but they go into the dressing room only down by 1 point. Emma Miesemann leading everyone with 16 points. Cam Beige has 11, Plum 8 points and 6 assists.
Scoring has not been easy to come by because of the tough Vegas defense. And speaking of Vegas, they have gotten balanced scoring in the first half. I credit a lot of it to Kelsey Plum and her attitude on the road, which has kept things moving for the Las Vegas Aces. Plum in the starting lineup, but they've made a 10-0 run to end the first half, and they're right back in this.
Kelsey Plum with 6 assists to go along with the 8 points. The starting point guard for the Las Vegas Aces, the first of 3 straight #1 overall draft picks that this franchise got. Kelsey back in San Antonio, and then back-to-back years, A'ja Wilson and Jackie Young. And De'Erica Hamby is starting the second half.
Big move for Bill Laimbeer, because they need Hamby's energy to start the third quarter. They often get down in third quarters throughout this season, and then Hamby comes in and gives them a punch. But I think this is a smart move by Bill.
Right off the bat, an air ball for Lena Deladon, who went scoreless the last 6 minutes plus in the second quarter.
And not to mention that Hamby has more size than Jackie Young. So defensively, we saw Washington take advantage of a smaller Young offensively in the first half. So that helps them as well with Hamby.
So the bigger lineup in, Plum guarding, or excuse me, driving on Deladon. And Kelsey Plum has given Vegas its first lead since they led 22-21 in the first quarter. Battling back from a double-digit deficit for the 3rd straight game. Beat Chicago in their first playoff game and lost by 2 in game 1 of this series, and now they're up.
I think in those situations, Cloud's got to find a way to make Cam Beige pay. They're switching on pick and rolls, and Cloud's got the quickness on Liz Cam Beige.
Hamby driving on Miesemann, looked like she got a hand on it, and then Hamby ran into Atkins. That is the first foul on De'Erica Hamby. For more on Vegas, let's go over to Kim Adams.
Thanks, Pamela. I checked in with assistant coach Kelly Raymond, and some of their messages are the same as they were the other night. The turnovers are a big concern. She said they need to execute better offensively, make some easy baskets, but they're in familiar territory. When I talked to A'ja Wilson this morning, she said in that first playoff game versus Chicago, we learned how to grind out a win. And then in Tuesday's game, even though they lost, they learned that they can come back on teams. She said usually all season it's been the opposite with teams coming back on us, but we see them again tonight coming back on the Washington Mystics.
And Kim, Washington has not had very many close games this year. Great post-entry pass there up high by McBride. But Washington is not used to playing possession-by-possession games as often as Vegas has this year.
Cloud ends a 14-0 Las Vegas run. In fact, Washington set a new WNBA record for win differential. Boy, Kelsey Plum looks like she's back at the, should be wearing purple at the University of Washington.
She's cooking.
Most points in the history of women's college basketball at the University of Washington. Taking advantage here, playing more aggressively, earning the start. Sanders started off hot.
They need that shot. Washington has to find easier offense in this game, and Liz Cam Beige with her size is easiest to pick on, forcing her to come out of the paint to defend.
Hamby rims it out. Deladon comes up with the board and will bring it up on her own. Deladon named the MVP for the 2nd time today.
See, that's where I think this is where Vegas is coming back and getting in that zone look, because you see Plum is guarding Deladon at the top of that defense.
Cam Beige at 6'8", able to go up and grab the high pass and get fouled. Clouds first.
Liz Cam Beige doing a really good job of using her size. And this is where Washington gets in trouble against the transition game of Vegas. They don't get matched up. And Liz doing a good job of running the floor. Bill Laimbeer told us he wanted more from Liz Cam Beige in the 3rd quarter of game 1. Did not see the type of energy. And Liz even admitted that she did not perform up to par. She spent quite a bit of time on the bench in game 1, 3rd quarter.
Cambage now 7 for 7 from the free throw line. Keeping Vegas off the free throw line is one of the keys for Mike Thibault. They've been there 14 times and hit 12 of them tonight. Trying to keep them under 20. Their only loss of the season, they shot over 20, Vegas did, in a game that Deladon missed. Emma Miesemann calmly ties the game. Ariel Atkins playing with 3 fouls, guarding Wnba.
That's not the player you want to guard with 3 fouls because she's so physical.
Shot clock at 6. Plum able to get Cloud away. Tipped out to Plum, 14 seconds to shoot. Kelsey took 2.
Cool, calm, and collect.
She had 16 points in game 1, 14 so far tonight for Plum. Atkins drew the foul and almost got it to go.
Kelsey Plum's just playing with a lot of confidence. I mean, she's using the ball fake. She knows that Natasha Cloud is aggressive and they're going to close out on the 3, just to bank her on the left side, that left side of the floor. They got to find a way to get her off of that side. I mean, you mentioned it, Pam, a tremendous scorer in college. Told us that she feels like playing at the point guard position and having total control since she had been benched is kind of added to this energy for her. And she has had her ups and downs. I mean, there have been some games where she hasn't made very good decisions. Bill Lambier has been tough on her, but wow, the way she has showed up in the playoffs, respect it.
Atkins gets them both. Plum really turning it up in the second half of that come-from-behind win over Chicago, playing well in game 1 and game 2 so far tonight in this series. Tied up again. Wnba sticks out that left hand and drives and gets it. How do you stop that?
Well, this is where Liz Cambage is so good because she's got footwork to go along with her size. And she knows that once she gets 2 feet that deep, 6'2", LaToya Sanders can't do anything about it.
Cambage remains perfect at the free throw line. She has scored 18 points in 18 minutes. Liz says she was just going to be more of herself tonight, and so far she has shown that. Remember, she finished second to Breanna Stewart in the MVP race last year in Dallas. And another whistle. Don't miss your chance to catch your favorite players, teams, and the continuing WNBA playoffs, and do it in person. Get your tickets today at WNBA.com/tickets.
This is exciting basketball. I mean, if you are anywhere close to these cities, Connecticut, Washington, LA, Vegas, get a seat in the arena. There's nothing like being at the game.
Sparks will play game 3, a must-win against Connecticut in Long Beach on Sunday. Emma gets them both after Plum picked up her second foul. And this is the new entertainment and sports arena in Southeast Washington. Wnba beats everybody down. This is also a great place to watch a game.
Oh, it is. How quickly is Vegas getting down and getting into their offense, even on made baskets?
Las Vegas up 3.
Washington is kind of standing on the perimeter. They got to move.
Sanders posting up McBride successfully. LaToya had her season high against Las Vegas during the regular season, 18 points. She's got 12 tonight. Cambage can shoot from there. Tried to tip it in, but they're going to get her for going over the back. 3 on Liz.
Yeah, the Las Vegas Aces making the push, getting that same energy from the first half to the third quarter. Look at how quickly they push the ball up the floor, and Wnba, 6th woman of the year.
She just needed this opportunity to really show what she's capable of. I mean, I've always knew this within her. She has such a great heart and such a hard worker, so it was just a matter of time for things to start clicking, and it shows.
I've said this before, but I don't know if there's been more pressure on a player than there has been on Kelsey Plum since she was selected #1 overall, and has had a lot of growing up to do. But we are seeing the best of what she can offer the WNBA in these playoffs. Confidence in her shot, running her team. She has become a much better defender. And you need that kind of leadership. And that's kind of what Washington is missing in this game. Is Kristi Toliver is not at 100%. And one thing that Mike Thibault mentioned to us was that Natasha Cloud has had to take on so much, both mentally and physically, down the stretch of the regular season without Toliver, because she was used to the 2-point guard system and having someone else to rely on to run offense. And nothing has come easy for Washington.
Lena Deladon has not scored in almost 12 minutes until that bucket fell. She had missed her last 3 shots. The MVP. Tie-up. Latoya Sanders right in the thick of things as usual.
And that is one thing that Washington wanted to do. They wanted to challenge Kayla McBride's passing ability, sending 2 defenders at her to see if she can get the ball out of a trap.
Washington with a 1-point lead. Sanders about 4 or 5 inches taller than McBride. Niesman comes away with it. Kristi Toliver missing 11 games with the bone bruise in her right knee and also a strained MCL. Did not score in the first half and had 3 personals. She's on the floor for the Mystics in her bright orange shoes. Niesman cradles the ball, and great defense by Asia.
More one-on-one.
Yep.
Not enough passing, not enough cutting. And credit the Aces, because they have really asserted themselves defensively.
Plum, beautiful look into Camp Age, but Niesman messed it up. Emma bringing it up now. Sanders. Deladon. As the ball goes out of bounds, but stays with Washington. Bill Lambier wearing a mic tonight.
Keep executing. They can't guard us. Don't turn it over. Keep executing. Finish the shots. The calls will turn around if you hang. You got to hang.
And that decision to insert Wnba into the starting lineup for the 3rd quarter, for the second half, has proven to have given them a punch. They haven't really stretched the lead too much, but I just feel a palpable energy with their team, a little bit more confidence with her in.
Pardon me, Wnba, the 6th Woman of the Year this season, coming off the bench for most of it and starting this second half.
And that's the one thing that has not worked for Wnba, is she is capable of hitting the long shot, but in the playoffs hasn't done that consistently.
With one notable exception.
Oh, yes.
Niesman for 3. Wnba hitting that crazy shot as time expired to eliminate Chicago in the second round. But other than that, struggling from the outside. Liz just put that shoulder down and unable to convert that time. Washington trying to take the 2-0 lead like Connecticut did earlier tonight at home against LA. Oh, Emma Niesman with some emotion. We're not used to seeing that from Emma. We saw it in game 1 after a big shot, and she enjoyed that finish.
As much as Emma Niesman has the ability to put the ball in the basket, what you forget is that she's #1 in the WNBA in assist-to-turnover ratio. She's very smart, good basketball IQ, and on the drive with the scoop and the pass. And Emma, during the regular season, averaged 3 assists per game. She would be top 15 in assists if she had played in enough games. Remember, she missed 11 with her national team responsibility. She's 3rd on this team in assists with only 23 games played, Pam.
10-0 Washington run. Niesman tips it to Deladon. Vegas has gone over 3 minutes without a point. Battling back from an 11-point deficit to take the lead here. And now Washington seizing it away.
Kristi Toliver was wide open under the basket.
Kristi Tolliver's first basket. A double-digit lead. It's a 13-0 run.
And most of this run has happened with Kristi Tolliver on the floor because you have to respect the three-point shot. It opens up the spacing. Take a look at the backside defense for Vegas. You have Plum and Wilson both get caught defensively without enough communication. Watch this. Good screen by Tolliver. Two defenders go. Tolliver spaces the floor, and you already know what it is when she has an eye on that three-point shot.
Tolliver was open for two, ended up hitting the three, and we had a chance to speak to her this morning, and she said she is a little sore. That was one of the main concerns after she played 23 minutes in game one.
Yeah, us having a game and a half to take her in, she's not herself, right? But she's trying to give her team what she can. And Vegas has done a good job of taking advantage of her defensively, but you can't take away her offense. There is not a player on the floor that's smarter or a more accurate three-point shooter in big situations.
Now they forced another turnover. Tolliver, guarded by Jackie Young, decided not to take the shot, waits for some help. And then Wnba hammers Deladon. Aces over the limit, so Deladon, the best free throw shooter in the history of this league, goes back.
I mean, you can say this about any team, really, but when you're hitting shots, especially against Vegas, your transition defense is just better. And you notice a difference with Washington in those situations. And for a stretch, they weren't hitting shots. And when they are, they can get a rhythm on the other end of the floor. And wow, a missed free throw by the MVP. Rare.
She had made 44 straight in the postseason, a WNBA record, until that miss. Aerial Powers gets Jackie Young for the foul.
Nice take by Young. She's got to capture some of this offensive magic that she has found in this game and continue it to carry it with her for however long.
And Jackie hit a couple of threes back in the first quarter. Coming up on Saturday, college football, as Oklahoma State takes on number 12 Texas in Austin. Oklahoma State has beaten the Longhorns 4 straight years. 7:30 Eastern, 6:30 Central on ABC and the ESPN app. Saturday Night Football presented by Wells Fargo. Washington up by 9. Pam Ward, LaChina Robinson, and Kim Adams joining you from Southeast Washington, D.C.
Oh, wow. Big call here.
That is the 4th foul on Kristi Tolliver.
She was looking to set a screen. We'll see if we can catch it here. Absolutely. Moved into Asia Wilson. That's a good call by the officials.
Took the brunt of the contact, but it was Kristi's 4th. She's staying in there. No move from Mike Thibault to get someone in. Young aggressive, but couldn't quite get enough oomph on it. Cloud, Emma, automatic. Four threes for Emma Miesemann, back-to-back 27-point games.
And what did Kim Adams tell us? Emma didn't even want to shoot the 3 early in her career.
Asia Wilson looked over at Jackie Young and said, shoot it. Jackie did, and Jackie hit it.
Boy, Jackie coming in with much-needed energy.
She only hit 14 threes in 34 regular season games. Young, 3 for 3 tonight from distance. Cloud got the ball. Plum. Washington on a 19-5 run to end the quarter, and Emma Miesemann did a lot of that damage.
All Washington has been saying is we missed Emma Miesemann last year in the playoffs. You can see why. Don't give her a look at it. Bottoms.
To watch Washington, D.C., joined by Mystics head coach Mike Thibault. And Coach, it's been another game of runs, but what allowed your team to recapture some energy in those last few minutes?
Well, we finally started playing side to side. I thought we were standing and watch each other play one-on-one for about 3 or 4 minutes. And we're best when we move the ball up and down and side to side, and we got going that way.
And the Aces have shown a few times now the ability to come back, so what do you need to execute defensively in this final quarter?
Well, it's a little bit of offense and defense. Defense, we got to keep them from second shots, stop fouling and putting them on the free throw line. And then the offense has got to keep them on their heels a little bit, see if we can get ourselves to the line a little bit.
Thank you so much, Coach.
Washington outscored Las Vegas by 10 in that quarter. They only had 1 turnover in that third quarter, and they lead now 80-69. But Vegas has had 2 straight games of double-digit comebacks. Powers with the 2 with the shot clock expiring.
Boy, Vegas had played great defense right up until Powers hit that shot. They were denying Tolliver on the wing. They were denying Deladon. They were Washington was trying to get in their 2-man game. And then Powers, you usually don't have to tell her to shoot, but I don't think she knew where the clock was.
Ariel Powers coming over from Dallas last year and mid-season, and she has really started to flourish, working under Mike Thibault and his staff, his son Eric, and also Marianne Stanley, who is one of the great veterans of women's basketball coaching.
An outstanding staff.
Kelsey Plum closed down there by Niesemann. Shot clock at 5. Kelsey has to create something. And a charge on Plum. Three on Kelsey.
I don't know that I like that call. I mean, I don't feel like Kelsey Plum did anything to displace the defense. Maybe from another angle, she used her arm to push off in the mid-air, but not from that angle. I didn't see an offensive foul.
Wnba got deep on Deladon, and it rolled off the rim. Erica just 3 of 10 from the floor tonight. Does have 8 rebounds. Lena Deladon has had a relatively quiet offensive night, but he's had a couple of buckets. Part of this 23-5 Washington run. Cam Beige. Niesemann hit the floor. Powers is holding on to the left side of her head as we await the call.
Looked like there was an elbow to the face of Emma Niesemann. Oh, definitely. Liz Cambage took her hand off of the ball to make contact with Niesemann's face. That should have been an offensive foul call on Liz Cambage.
The officials will go over and look, but the foul was called on Niesemann. Second for Emma, that's Mai Forsberg over there, joined by Tim Green. Mike Price is our third official tonight. Check that, that's 3 on Emma.
Now, unless the officials blew the whistle before, if they blew it there, like if they blew it before Liz used that elbow, that's one thing. And we can't tell on the replay, we can't hear or see the official make the foul call.
And I don't know how you can call a foul on Niesemann anyway.
Well, she touched the ball handler once Liz faced up, but I don't think the whistle blew that early. And right there is an obvious offensive foul on Elizabeth Cambage. And the officials will go to the monitor. I'm assuming that the foul had not been called by the time that the contact was made with Wnba's face. And they're going to go back because anytime you make contact above the shoulders, they're going to review and may put a flagrant on that. In my opinion, that is a flagrant foul on Liz Cambage.
All three officials now caucusing. Cambage looks on. Liz leading her team with 18 points. An almost must-win situation in this best of 5, already down 1 game to none. Tim Green is coming over and is now discussing the decision with LaChina, who will let us know the final decision. The foul on Meeseman stands. But Liz Cambage has been assessed a technical foul. Is that correct?
That is correct. The defensive foul on Wnba was the call on the floor. And then they're going to call a technical foul on Liz Cambage, which I absolutely agree that they had to acknowledge that contact to the face where Liz took her hand off of the ball and used that elbow. If you're making a basketball move and you've got 2 hands on the ball and you're going up and your elbow's out, sometimes you can get away with that. But when you take that arm off of the ball, it's hard to justify that the officials don't put a foul on that.
So they made the correct call. Liz Cambage upset. Deladon hit the technical free throw, so the foul on Meeseman is her 3rd. The ball goes over to Las Vegas.
And I believe the reason why it's a technical foul is because it was after the whistle had blown. But again, we can't tell when the whistle blew.
Cloud got a piece of plum on her drive. Natasha Cloud having a terrific night for Washington. 10 assists and 14 points. She gets the double-double, and the 10 assists are a new career playoff high for the point guard. 3 fouls against Washington, none against the Aces. Tamara Young off the bench and into the bottom of the net.
And they could use a punch by Tamara Young. When you look at this roster and players that have playoff experience, Tamara Young is at the top of the chart, along with Epiphany Prince and Sugar Rogers. And that's when you can use some veteran experience on the road right here.
Had a lot of playoff experience in Atlanta, also played in Chicago. Long 3 for Deladon, ticks off the front of the rim. Asia Wilson beats everybody down. Vegas trying to mount a comeback. Powers, quick, couldn't get it to fall, but she'll get to shoot free throws. We invite you to check out ESPN's women's basketball podcast, Around the Rim with LaChina Robinson. New episodes appearing weekly on the ESPN app or Apple Podcasts. All about the playoffs, right?
That's it. I mean, we just like to argue about what's going on, you know?
What else is there right now? Playoffs.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Can't wait till we talk about all these close endings on our next one.
Ooh.
Devereaux Peters and Tarika Foster-Brasby, our producer.
Tasha Cloud with a double-double we talked to you about, was wearing a nice hoodie today that she had made up with Elena Deladon's face on the front and MVP written on the back.
Yeah, she's been making goat sounds all season. and has shown a lot of love.
GOAT for greatest of all time for Deladon, who was indeed named the MVP earlier today. Great defense by Sanders to bottle up Cambage.
And that's the only way that Latoya Sanders at 6'2" can guard 6'8" Cambage, is if she gets to the ball early before Cambage is able to get it up and over her head. And that's what she does right here. Uses her quickness, gets to the ball. That's her length. And that's also great timing.
Sanders, just very smart player, very heady, one of the best defenders in the league, according to head coach Mike Thibault. Meesseman is back in for DC. Young 2 in a row, in and out as the shot clock expires, but she gets him a fresh 14 seconds on the clock. Same spot. 2 out of 3 from that spot since she came into the game, Tamara Young.
And if you're Washington, you think you can help off a Young into Liz Cambage, but much like Jackie Young, when Tamara Young's hitting that shot, keeps the defense honest.
Washington is led by as many as 15. The lead now down to 12. Deladon gives it up. Sanders got hacked.
And that's what Mike Thibault was telling Kim Adams. We can't stand and watch the offense develop. They have to be active participants at all 5 positions.
Tamara Young's second foul. Mike Thibault trying to get that first WNBA championship. He's been to 3 finals, 2 with Connecticut, and then last year with Washington. First time Washington has ever made it that far. Elena Deladon suffering the bone bruise as they went on to be swept by Seattle.
How about the bone bruise coming back to haunt the Mystics again this year with Christy Tolliver?
Yeah, Tolliver said, in fact, that it was Deladon who saw her limping around that said, you gotta get that checked out by the trainers.
Oh,
Tamara Young, of all people.
Get out and guard me.
Young staying hot, keeping the aces within shouting distance.
And you can see Deladon telling Tolliver to take her, because Tolliver likes the 3 when the post switches out on her, but I just don't know if she has enough lift on that leg.
Gonna try again.
And that one was wide open.
Tamara Young on fire. 10 points, all of them here in the second half, and 8 of them coming in quick succession.
The veteran Tamara Young, known for her defense, but leaving her open, not respecting the jump shot, and she is knocking it down.
The WNBA Playoffs 2019 is brought to you by AT&T. More for your thing, that's our thing. And the new toasted cheddar chalupa at Taco Bell.
Read telecast of WNBA Enterprises may not be retransmitted, reproduced, rebroadcast, or otherwise used in any form without the express written consent of WNBA Enterprises.
5.5 minutes left to go. Washington up 10, trying to get a 2-0 lead in this best-of-5 semi, but Tamara Young has scored 8 of Vegas's last 10 points.
She's been giving this team energy off of the bench most of the season, and then was inserted into the starting lineup and back off of the bench today with Plum in. But what a stretch for a veteran to really show a rather inexperienced playoff team, a young team, how to stop a run. And you want to force Kelsey Plum to the right, but not open up all the way. Should make you pay.
16 for Plum. Now, Elena Deladon, second straight game here where she has struggled to get her shot off, just 5 of 12 from the floor. She was 10 of 22 in a Game 1 win. Shot clock getting skinny now at 6. Meesseman blocked by Cambage.
Great help by Cambage. She saw the mismatch.
Then Deladon returns the favor on Asia. Tamara Young can't save it.
Probably the more underrated aspect of Elena Deladon's game is the length that she can use under the rim defensively, and has become better with her body positioning so that she doesn't foul. But what a contest.
Second block of the game for Deladon. Washington trying to hold Vegas off for the second straight game. Washington's gone almost 4 minutes without a field goal.
And boy, Vegas is so tough. They absorb a run well.
They literally never think they're out of a game.
No.
Wnba's third. 14 seconds to shoot for Washington, each team with 3 team fouls. Washington's offense got stagnant and stuck on one side when they had a big lead in the 4th quarter in game 1. They need some magic from Miesemann. Cloud has to shoot it. What a rebound by LaToya Sanders, and the presence of mind to bring it out. Cloud! Sanders with a huge offensive rebound. Cambage got inside of LaToya, and then it's lights out.
Sanders doing everything she can, but Elizabeth Cambage is a load down low.
Natasha Cloud back-to-back, continuing to grow on her playoff career-high points, now at 18.
Not a great shot there by Plum.
And then Cloud gets on the court to grab the ball and tie up Wilson.
Well, Tamara Young went on a personal run, and then Cloud said, well, let's see if you can defend. She's been aggressive in taking Young to the rim, and you see the bigs for Washington are stretched, so there is no help defense. And good hustle here by Cloud on the other end.
Tasha Cloud with a double-double, 14 points and 10 assists, both of them career playoff highs. So you're talking to Mai Forsberg, and Mike Thibault says she talks a lot. Very vocal, one of the leaders on this team.
Of course, she's from Philly. Of course, she talks a lot.
Played her freshman year at Maryland, then went home to St. Joseph's where she flourished. And a lot of people kind of dismissed her after that, going to a smaller school, not a power conference, but she has been a terrific pro, turned into one here in Washington. Tolliver stumbles. Cloud to Tolliver. Tolliver literally fell down and was out of bounds, picked herself up, dusted herself off, and hit a shot.
And Vegas doesn't care. Don't celebrate the victory because Vegas is going to push it. We are buckled in for an exciting 2:48 to end this one. Vegas not going away easily. Christy Tolliver hit the deck, but she's going to get back up because there's a shot opportunity coming. Earlier today, Elena Deladon was named the MVP, but boy, has Vegas given her some trouble. And who has stepped up? Emma Miesemann, being aggressive, looking for a shot, using her size over smaller defenders. She's been sensational in her ability to knock down tough shots. And you see the numbers there, Pam, and that three-point shot has been important in particular to Washington's offense to help them spread the floor and get some sense of balance.
6 of 10 in the 2 games for Miesemann. Kelsey Plum trying to complete a 3-point play and does so. Plum getting the start tonight. We've not seen Ariel Atkins since the 4-minute mark in the 3rd quarter for Washington. Tolliver getting some extended playing time. There she is. Steps back. Wilson able to use her length to corral the rebound.
Mystics have to get matched up because this is where they have struggled.
Cambage over to Young. Tamara Young finally misses after coming in and giving them a jolt in the 4th quarter. Miesemann for 3. Miesemann with 5 threes on the night. Deladon gets the Plum miss. Emma Miesemann with 30 points. That ties her career high, period. Tolliver. Three ball for Tolliver. and Washington's hit the century mark.
And this is where Washington is good, where they can spread the floor. And watch off of this screen, Liz Cambage is supposed to then give up her cutter and get out to Emma Miesemann, but that's hard to do at 6'8", and this is hard to do at 6'8" as well. Tolliver comes off of the screen, they're supposed to switch, but again, Cambage at 6'8", hard for her to get out on that. In Vegas, with as great as they have played defensively for the most part, not just all season, and I know Washington has 100 points, but they've had to go about a lot of different ways of getting it. Those were two defensive possessions that were not played very well.
So Elena Deladon has not been her MVP self, shooting just 42% from the floor, but it's been the others that have brought the play up, particularly Miesemann. 27 in game one, 30 tonight, and they've gotten contributions from Tolliver.
Yeah, I mean, this is really what Vegas has done well. They have forced Washington to beat them in other ways, not just high volume Elena Deladon, but Emma Miesemann, boy, has a star been born. And what you forget about Emma Miesemann is that she has moderate to severe hearing loss. And we were talking to her teammates about why they think that makes her a better player. They said her instincts, because she does not hear very well. There are so many other facets of her senses that come into play, and her instincts that she feeds off.
So now Cambage and the rest of the Aces need points in a hurry, and they call a foul on that.
The call out of the timeout by Bill Lambier is go down to Cambage, and yeah, that's the right call, because Sanders was not vertical. Was not straight up.
Pardon me, Cambage with a perfect night at the free throw line. That's the lead to 11. This is the 7th time this year that Washington has scored at least 100 points. They averaged 89.3 per game in the regular season, a new league record.
Good ball movement.
Well, Deladon still not finding her shot tonight, but at least, as you mentioned, they are getting the ball around. As we approach a minute to go in the fourth.
Vegas has got to go. Time is not on their side.
Plum gets it over to Young. Three goes in and out. Asia Wilson, terrific second chance. Got the rebound, but couldn't put it home.
Latoya Sanders has had some big moments in this game.
And the Washington fans are feeling it. Christy Tolliver. She says she's playing on a leg and a half right now with that hurt right knee, but her shot is true.
Tolliver spending the last few possessions trying to get her legs under her, trying to get her confidence back, and you never disappear when the screen is set, and Christy Tolliver has an opportunity to get a look at three.
WNBA playoffs continue Sunday with a doubleheader on ESPN2. We will be in Las Vegas for Game 3 of this series, followed by the Sparks and Sun from Long Beach at 7 Eastern time. The Sparks in a must-win situation. For more, go to WNBA.com or visit the WNBA app.
You see the conversation between Emma Miesemann and Christy Tolliver. They played overseas together for many years. And Emma Miesemann doesn't say much, but one thing she told us was, it's so good to have our leader back on the floor. Christy said as soon as she came back, Emma was trying to check in. You know, she was telling Christy, you get in, because Emma had been in the lineup. She said, no, you get in. And they play well together and have a great relationship.
Miesemann with back-to-back terrific nights for Washington. Sydney Colson into the game for Vegas. 6-year pro out of A&M gets her first basket from the floor, but the Washington Mystics hitting the century mark for the 7th time this season, take a commanding 2-0 lead west to Las Vegas. Only 1 turnover in the second half for the Mystics. They are 1 win away from their 2nd straight finals appearance. Liz Cambage with another great offensive night for Vegas. But Washington takes it 103-91. Natasha Cloud with playoff career highs in points and assists, and Emma Miesemann was terrific.
She's brilliant. And what we've bragged on all season about Washington is their balance, and it is shown to be so true on a night like tonight.
Kelsey Plum getting the start for Las Vegas. They were able to come back from a couple of deficits, but Elena Deladon named the MVP, now right in the middle of the huddle, talking to her teammates as they leave with the victory.